Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for another dearly departed preview show. Round 34 in the Premier League. 5 rounds to go. We're nearly there. We've got Leeds and Villa pretty safely in midfield. We've got Sheffield United already gone. Fulham and West Brom on the verge, waiting for, do we say a miracle? Waiting for some wins and some defeats above them. Fingers crossed for those teams. Those are the dearly departed. And of course, congratulations to Watford last week, who will be joining the dearly departed next season along with Norwich. And one other in the playoffs. We'll find who else that is very soon. We're going to go through the 5 dearly departed games. We might even make a prediction. Before we do that, just say thank you to Jay Coyle, who is our fan sponsor for the Dearly Departed series. Dearly Departed, also known as Ben. Couldn't bear to lose us. Damn right, Jay. And thank you for your sponsorship. Here are the round 34 fixtures. Still spread out this weekend. So Friday night, I'm recording early on Friday morning here. Southampton versus Leicester. Doesn't have too much bearing, although Southampton are still mathematically catchable down there. We'll see. Palace versus Manchester City on Saturday lunchtime. Brighton versus Leeds is our first dearly departed game. That's 3 p.m. on Saturday. Will be mid-super stream when that one's on. So no doubt we'll be all across that one. Then Chelsea, Fulham is our next one. Everton, Villa. So 3 in a row there on the Saturday. The 3, the 5:30 and the 8 o'clock. Off to Sunday, Newcastle, Arsenal. Manchester United, Liverpool, always a small affair, that one. Spurs versus Blades is our 4th game. And then it's Monday night before we get to our 5th game. West Brom versus Wolves, Black Country Derby, with Burnley and West Ham. After that, just a quick look ahead. There's then a midweek round of fixtures. So we're probably going to have to miss West Brom and Wolves off. I think we might be able to watch it live, actually, on the Monday. So we're probably going to have to do the review on the Monday and then the preview on the Tuesday for the next round of games. So pretty crowded fixtures in terms of the Premier League. Right, as ever, we will go from the highest ranking team to the lowest ranking team. We've now got Leeds in 9th, so we will start with them. And it is Brighton versus Leeds in the Ben White derby, let's just say. The Brian Clough derby, after a fashion, managed both of those teams. Leeds for not very long, of course. So Leeds are in really nice form, aren't they? Up in 9th spot now, pushing at the 50-point mark. And Brighton have had a recent slip which puts them, vulnerable position-wise. They're in the most vulnerable position-wise. Points-wise, they do still have a 7-point gap and a 9-point gap over Fulham and West Brom. However, Fulham have only scored 1 point in the last 5. West Brom, a little bit more of a push from them, but denied by a late equaliser against Villa last time out. Leeds, the form's been really, really nice. We suggested a few weeks ago a possible trend up since, the centre-backs were all fit again. Llorente into the team doing well. Koch there in reserve. Fitness in midfield improving, although Rafinha is not going to be back for this one. I believe Rodrigo is. How many games has Cooper been suspended for now? I'm assuming he gets 3 games, would it have been? So he's probably got another one to go after being red-carded against Manchester City. There's your Leeds team that played last time. So assuming I'm right about that, I don't see much in the way of changes. In fact, I don't see any changes. You reckon Rodrigo would probably get onto the bench knowing Bielsa and then slid in there. But look, the last game was a week ago. And, muscle memory's looking good. They're in a good flow at the moment, Leeds. So probably not much going to happen to that. Meslier, Ayling, Llorente, Stroik, Alioski, Phillips, Costa, Harrison, Roberts, Dallas, and Bamford. The only possible changes before the end of the season. Imagine Cooper will come back after his suspension. It's a tricky one for Bielsa, isn't it? Do you drop Tyler Roberts out of midfield for Rodrigo? That would be probably the like-for-like switch, the more attacking player. Do you stick Stuart Dallas back into left back and take Alioski out and put Rodrigo in there? I don't know. It's all functioning very nice, especially in that central midfield area with Phillips and Roberts and Dallas. It feels like a good balance, that, doesn't it? With Phillips the deep liar, Roberts, maybe the support, and Dallas to glue the thing together. So things look good for Leeds. They're in good form. Things don't look good for Brighton. You can see their defeat against Manchester United, 0-0s against Everton and Chelsea, and then a defeat at Sheffield United. So 3 games without a goal. And of course, Brighton, the most drawingest, is that a word, team in the division, 13 draws in 33. And also, Brighton are famed now this season for whatever reason, for having a very high, sort of number of chances they create and high XG numbers, but not a very high number of goals. So, think of that what you will. It's either the finishing or the type of chances they're creating, or something systematically wrong, but they're not doing the business, which does make me think, even with my dearly departed hat, I could leave it to the side. You would make Leeds, there's value here. I think they can get something for sure from this one. Brighton can be stubborn and could eke out the draw. Can they stem the flow of Leeds attacking play, which we know Leeds attack with 6-7 players at a time consistently, don't they? Can they stem that? They did, to be fair to Brighton, we should mention this. They win at Ellen Road, didn't they? And picked off Leeds very well. I suppose we can lies, damn lies and excuses. That was at the height of the Ellen Road pitch being at its absolute worst, if I remember that game. But look, I'm finding reasons now to go against my gut feelings. I think Leeds can win this. So I am going to predict an away win for Leeds United in this one. I think Leeds can go to Brighton and get the win. Let me know what you think down there in the comments. It's Leeds versus Brighton. And in a game of English football's big historical names, it's Everton versus Aston Villa. And it's getting a bit predictable, this Villa. It's almost like I set the review up, I make the slideshows, and then I look and see the latest on Grealish. And that informs my prediction quite a lot because the numbers are quite stark. And what I've just Googled says Grealish possibly out until May. I mean, strictly speaking, it would be the 1st of May, wouldn't it? Is that a Bee Gees song? The 1st of May? Someone let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure it is. Maybe the 5th of May? No, 1st of May? 1st of May? Anyway, Grealish is not likely to be playing in this one. We saw him having a chat with Gareth Southgate, who was watching the, must have been Villa and West Brom game. Or was it different Villa game? Villa Man City, wasn't it? He's probably watching Phil Foden, who's moving quickly ahead of Grealish in the England plans, isn't he? Anyway, it's not all about Grealish. It's not all about England either. It's about Aston Villa here, who, they're not in good form, are they? We've got that isolated win against Fulham, which we did as a watch-along, which did involve a bit of a Fulham collapse. Last time out, they scraped a point with a late equaliser from Keenan Davis against West Brom. Okay, the 2 previous games were Manchester City and Liverpool, who have been the top 2 in the country the last 3 years, although Liverpool aren't going to finish there this year. Spurs as well. So, come a cropper against some good players, haven't they? But They're not in the best of form. And you would put Everton in as a team who you'd think would be risky opponents for Villa here, wouldn't you? Recently, a lot of draws in there. We mentioned the one against Brighton in the Leeds preview, but they went to Arsenal and won last time out. They're in 8th spot, and they would fancy getting past Spurs, given the sort of chaotic situation managerially at, I was going to say White Hart Lane there, at, what even is Spurs' new stadium called? Deary me. At the big Spurs new stadium. Pickford in goal last time for Everton, Coleman, Godfrey, Holgate, Digne, Gomez, Alain, Richarlison, Rodriguez, Sigurdsson, Calvert-Lewin. A lot of quality in there. For Villa, it's how do you cope without Captain Jack? And they've tried sort of 4-3-3s and basically, you know, sticking an extra man in central midfield, in short. They did go back to the 4-2-3-1 that when Grealish is fit suits them better. And they did go back to Ross Barkley. Cash was red carded, wasn't he? I think it was 2 yellows against Manchester City. So he will be back. So expect him to come back in at right back for El Mohammadi. Will they change anything else up the front there? I don't think you're going to see Davis be getting into the team despite scoring off the bench. I don't know, maybe has Ramsey got a shout in one of those positions if they want to sort of match up against Alain and Gomez and James and take out the number 10. Just, I don't know, it just feels a bit foolhardy to have taken Ross Barkley out of the team for the longest time and then to stick him in for one game and take him back out, because against his old club here in Everton. So, I don't know, I think he might stick with that system. I just have a worry here. I don't really see Villa winning this game. Sadly, they've only won 2 without Captain Jack since he's been injured, and I don't want the complete beginning, middle, and end of my analysis to be, oh, Grealish plays, they've got a chance. Grealish doesn't play, they've got a chance. But they're away against a team who are above them in the division with some quality and with a, you know, experienced, excellent manager as well. Perhaps they could go there and get a draw. You just worry about the goal threat. I can see them getting shut out. My instinct, I hate to say, Villa fans, is that Everton are going to win this game. So please persuade me differently in the comments if you're able to. If you agree with me, then just agree with me. But I don't really see Villa getting anything from this game, I hate to say. Let me know what you think in the comments. Aston Villa visiting Everton. Moving on to a West London derby, Chelsea versus Fulham. If memory serves, Fulham don't do well in this game. I don't have the head-to-head stats, but they really, really need something now, don't they? Look straight down at the league table there. So Fulham, 27 points. They've got 5 games to play, and they are 7 points behind Brighton. So if Brighton were to win and Fulham were to lose, there would then be 4 games to go and a gap of 9 points. And then Fulham are essentially a game away from relegation being confirmed. That wouldn't be good news also for West Brom, who are even 2 points further. But we'll talk about them in a minute. So it really does feel like Fulham need to get something from this. I don't know. Chelsea under Tuchel, they just look like hard opponents. I don't normally do this and put the European games up, but I thought it was prevalent because they've played Real Madrid so soon before the game. Well, it was Tuesday night, not Wednesday night. Chelsea visiting Real Madrid and getting a draw there. I've obviously got the team up from their previous game where they went to West Ham and won. So, I mean, you look at those last games. They've beaten Manchester City. Okay, 0-0 versus Brighton. And Chelsea, Fulham won't play the way that Brighton are very much capable of sitting in and drawing games this season, as we've covered already in this video. Then a win at West Ham is a good result. Okay, bit of a spurious red card in that one, and then they've gone to Real Madrid. So what I'm saying is Chelsea are in good nick at the top of the table. They're performing well. They're not losing games. They're keeping clean sheets. This looks hard for Fulham, even though they've been away in Europe. It was Tuesday, wasn't it? And you'd think those players would have been nicely back in their beds, probably late on Tuesday night, bit of a rest on Wednesday and everything. Training wise, probably did some warm down and then all back to normal on Thursday, you would imagine. So, will it affect them? Will it affect them badly? I wonder. There was the last team in the league: Mendy, Christensen, Silva, Rudiger, Chilwell, Azpilicueta, Kante, Jorginho, Pulisic, Mount, and Werner. And Tuchel is getting a tune out of them, isn't he? They are 4 points off Leicester, so still capable of catching the Foxes of Leicester anyway. What about Fulham? There may be a reason why I'm procrastinating to talk about them. Because, and the story is, they got themselves in a really good position, didn't they, after that win at Liverpool. And then, ever since then, it's not been good. Defeat against Manchester City, defeat against Leeds. It's just that Villa game that was the one, wasn't it? They're playing Villa, who were out of form at the time. When they led, they were moving above Newcastle in the table. That was only a couple of games ago. The result swings around the other way, and now look at it. It's a 9-point gap up to the Geordies, and Brighton are in the box seat now instead of Newcastle. So, okay, that says a lot about Newcastle's excellent recent form. 8 points in 4 from them. Brilliant. The other thing for Fulham is late goals. Just horrible. If you scrub off those 2 late goals for Wolves and Arsenal, you have a win for Fulham and a draw. As it stands, they get 1 point instead of the 4, which they may well think that they were deserving of, given how close both of those games were, which would put them a little bit closer to Brighton, let's just say. It's not the be-all, end-all, those 2 recent late goals. And then you look at this fixture and you think, oh, is this one where they're going to be expecting to take a point or 3? I'm not sure it is. There is your teams from the last game against Arsenal. Areola, Iain, Anderson, Ed Rabiot and Robinson. Lookman, is he fully fit? Lamina, Anguissa, Reed, Madja and Cavalieri. Look, they came close against Arsenal. The underlying numbers did have it as a little bit of a smash and grab. But look, when it's a 97th minute equaliser, you are expecting to win the game, aren't you? Oh, guys, I can play my joker on this one. I don't expect Fulham to get anything from this game, but I'll play my joker and put my dearly departed hat on and say a draw, but this is going to be hard work for Fulham for sure, isn't it? Let me know what you think in the comments. I think, look, I'm going to say a draw with my joker, but I think Chelsea are going to win this one. Get your thoughts in. Could be a bad weekend, although we do have Brighton possibly losing to Leeds, don't we? So it might not all be over just yet, but time is a ticking away, isn't it? Get your predictions in Chelsea versus Fulham. Moving on, a second consecutive derby match for Wolves, for West Brom, who drew 2-2 against Villa. So too many West Midlands teams swirling around in my head. Oh, and it's disappointing, wasn't it? We already mentioned it earlier in the show. 2-1 up, 92nd minute, and we talk about underlying numbers. We just mentioned them as it pertained to Fulham at Arsenal, but when it's Sam Allardyce and when big chances are created and there's 2 or 3 of them in a game, you're not too bothered about A, the shot count of the other team, and B, the possession of the other team. As long as you're not conceding too many big chances yourself. And they've been good recently, West Brom, haven't they? They really have. If you look at those recent games, okay, the 0-0 against Newcastle was dull as dishwater. We watched that. Then defeat against Palace. But look, they hammered Chelsea, hammered Southampton, disappointing one against Leicester. And they were so close to a win there against Villa, which would have been 9 points in 4 games, 10 points in 6 then. Still got a run of 7 points in 4 games, which is good. It's very good considering the snail's pace down the bottom there. I always say it's snail racing down there, don't I? Let's add 7 points on for the next 4. If they can replicate that, they would get to 32 with 1 game to go. Now, all it would take is for Brighton and... Newcastle will be already gone. All it would take is for Brighton to win 1 game in the meantime with that 7 points in 4 to be safe. So really, it does feel like West Brom, if they're going to do anything here, they've got to sucker Brighton or Newcastle, Southampton there, Burnley all on 36. Feel a bit far ahead, don't they? Feels like they've got to sucker them in over the next 2 games, i.e. if they were to win the next 2, West Brom, then they'd have 31 with 3 games to go. Do you know what I mean? Then the nerves can kick in, whereas, there is a scenario that feels quite likely that the gap will stay vaguely similar. Maybe West Brom will end up, I don't know, how far are they behind at the moment? 9 points, maybe they'll end up 7 or 6 points behind, but it's a hard old task this for West Brom. That said, I think they've got a good chance in this game. Look at that last Wolves result. Wolves 0, Burnley 4. Now, if you were going to stack one manager's style as close to another in the Premier League, and that manager was Sean Dyche, you would say, well, Sam Allardyce might have a similar tactic here. Play on transition, overpower in the final third when those openings come, and punish with good finishing. It's exactly what Burnley and Chris Wood did in that game last time, and they won 4-0 for goodness sake, and that was at Molineux as well. I keep hearing people tell me, Nuno is the bloom off the rose there at Wolves. Has he taken them and they're the ascent, and now it's kind of levelling out for him? I don't know, bigger things there, but let's just bang through that Wolves team. Patricio Saiz, Cody Bolly, and Nuri Semedo Neves, then Donker, Podence, Traore and William Jose up top. And that is the team that went under 4-0 against Burnley. But to be completely transparent, that is also the team that beat the dearly departed bottom 2, or 2 of the bottom 3, sort yourself out, Ben, in the previous 2 games. So there is form that says Wolves, whilst they may not be up to the standards of the last couple of seasons, are still very capable of beating the teams in the bottom 3 and shutting them out. I do happen to think that West Brom under Big Sam are a different proposition to recent Fulham and certainly Sheffield United all season. So I don't like this because I actually feel quite confident for West Brom in this game. Johnston, Furlong, Ajayi, Bartley, last time Townsend, Yokuslu, Robinson, Pereira looks great, doesn't he? Gallagher and Maitland-Niles, you got a bit of, essentially got a Chelsea player and an Arsenal player in there as your central midfielders. Diagne causes trouble up top. He forced that Ming's own goal. They're playing at the Hawthorns. I know they've possibly been better away from home under Big Sam, but they did get the 3-0, didn't they, against Southampton? Do you know, I think they can win this game. I think West Brom can do this. For my dearly departed and not having loads of dead rubbers, doing my championship stuff as well, could be done in the championship with an entire round of games to go, let's just say. But I'm going to predict a West Brom win in this one. I think they can do it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I don't think I have to put the dearly departed hat on or play the Joker to even say that either. Hopefully some logic in my justification there. Let me know what you think in the comments. West Brom versus Wolves. And finally, Spurs versus Sheffield United. Interesting at Spurs at the moment to deal with them first. Obviously, Jose Mourinho on the same day as being relieved of his duties, on the same day as all that Super League nonsense broke. And then a cup final. Interesting week, which they lost. So they have Ryan Mason and Chris Powell in there. Do you wonder, is there a bit of a vacuum of power there at the moment? Obviously, they've beaten Southampton since since this stuff all happened. There was the team they used there: Lloris, Aurier, Alderweireld, Dyer, Region, Højbjerg and Dombele, Bale, Lo Celso, Son, and Moira. No Harry Kane in that game. Played in the definitely played in the cup final, didn't he? So, I mean, we say the normal things we say about Spurs. I suppose it's a bit different now. We used to be saying, look out for the transition and Son and Kane under Mourinho. Suspect there'd be a bit more Gareth Bale. I saw an interview with him, it must have been post-game actually, after Southampton, saying, want to get a bit more on the front foot. And that seemed to be, even though Gareth Bale's very good at speaking to the media now after all his years playing, seemed to be a bit of a veiled dig at Jose, didn't it? Anyway, Sheffield United did that classic thing of being confirmed as relegated, and you can see there on the right, then beating Brighton, which was actually a good result for Fulham and West Brom chasing, even though Sheffield United are already gone. So they should be able to play without any fear again, and they'll be really pleased to have got that win against Brighton. Yes, caveat ahoy. Brighton did their usual create 2.5 XG and not score any goals. So there is that caveat, but a win is a win is a win. Blades still well bottom, and they're likely to finish there unless they can get, 10 points from somewhere between now and the end of the season. But Allardyce does have West Brom trending in the right direction. So you would think Blades will 100% be finishing bottom. But can they get over that 20-point mark, I guess, is the next thing. Need another win to do that. Last time out, Ramsdale, Bulldog, Egan and Brian. And just even as I say that, they've just been so decimated in that back three, haven't they? Still no Basham, O'Connell all season. Stevens and Bogle wide. Interesting to see people like Bogle and Brewster, maybe Keane Bryan as well. I wonder now, do you start seeing next season's team? Obviously, it's very hard to tell because we don't know who the manager's going to be at Sheffield United yet next season. But certainly, I would be getting Brewster in there, particularly every game now. McGoldrick was in there last time. Midfield three there: Fleck, Osborne, and Norwood. I think Brewster's very, very important for Sheffield United because in his loan spell at Swansea from Liverpool in 1920, the end of last season, he proved he can really dominate at championship level. And he's a player that if you can get moving, you can build a championship promotion campaign around Brewster. I'm not saying he can put it on his back like, I don't know, like a Mitrovic has done, but like a Buendia has done this season at Norwich or Grealish at Villa. He's not going to carry the team on his back, but he can certainly be a big player. So that would be something I'd be looking at were I a Blades fan. This is going to be tricky, of course. I think Spurs are going to play with a little bit of freedom in this one. Obviously, with my England hat on, we like to see Harry Kane in the goals towards the end of the season. Let's be honest, he's always in the goals. And that's the threat, isn't it? Those world-class players, Bale, Son, Kane, etc. World Cup winner, Lloris. It's a difficult task. I think Blades will be on the score sheet in this one, but I can see them losing the game. So I will go for Spurs to win this, but they need some joined-up thinking at Blades now, don't they? Need to be threading through certain players who are going to play 30 games in the Championship next season. They need to be in the team now. There's no point them being there and waiting until August. That's not the one, is it? So anyway, I've gone for a Spurs win in that one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Spurs v Sheffield United. Excuse me, that's our show. Thanks again to Jay. Dearly departed, so known as Ben, couldn't bear to lose us. No, I mean, Jay's dead right. It made me laugh when he agreed to sponsor the show, and I said, okay, send me something through. And he was exactly right, because no, I can't bear to lose these teams. The channel obviously relies mainly on Championship content. However, we build up all that sort of goodwill and gain subscribers for these teams, and they go and get promoted. So do give me your feedback on how you want this show to advance. People always ask me, how long is a team going to be dearly departed for? I would say, why would I stop? Why would I stop covering Leeds and Villa when essentially I've now been covering them for, Leeds particularly. Villa, obviously, there was 1 year gap because we didn't do Dearly Departed last season. But to use Leeds as an example, why would I stop? Do you know what I mean? So, as far as I'm concerned, Norwich and Watford are going to come in. We're going to get one of Barnsley, Brentford, Bournemouth, Swansea winning the playoffs as well. Just give me your feedback. What do you want the shows to be? Obviously, very, very busy on the channel. So, even if we could go to a regular day, I wonder whether that would help next season. Get your feedback in on the Dearly Departed shows. Lots of people have asked in the wake of me doing a championship team of the season, will we be doing a Dearly Departed team of the season? Yes, we will. It will go along the same lines. We've got to have our rules, haven't we? Got to have our laws here. So it will be likely that you're going to have to pick 4 players from a maximum of 4 players from each of the clubs, which means 4 per team there, 11 starters and 9 on the bench. But it's all going to be good fun. Looking forward to that. We won't do that for a couple of weeks because we've still got a few Premier League rounds. But remember, 3-game week coming up, as in weekend, midweek, weekend. And then at that point, we will be up to 34, 35, 36. That'll be round 36. There'll only be 2 rounds to go. And we can start getting involved in that. But of course, we've got championship playoffs. So much to do on the channel. Which is more reason for you to subscribe. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Ring the bell. And as always, get your comments in on everything we have said. That was our Dearly Departed preview. Round 34. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.